Shakin' Stevens, 101 FM. You know, I like Shar already. We've just been chatting off air and we've been putting the world to rights. And what I love is when you get like-minded people that come into the studio. I always say, wouldn't it be great if we actually didn't do this bit, but we let the listeners hear what we talk about while the music's playing? That'd be really good, wouldn't it? Shar, first of all, a huge thank you. You know, let me just tell the listeners what happened. Somebody else was meant to be in this slot. Fully understandable. They contacted me yesterday, said, sorry, Mike, can't come, will come next year. So I put a message out on Facebook. Hey, guys, I've got one slot up for grabs. Tomorrow morning, who wants it? Bam! Facebook went nuts. But what I loved about the lady who's on here, this is Shar Moore. I said, why do you want to come on the show? And she said, because I'm funny and I'm good at what I... Well, good at... Forget it's false modesty. Good on you for that.
Absolutely. I think if you are good at it, own it.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. So welcome to 101 FM.
Thank you, Mike.
I did a little bit of research. I kind of stalked you a little bit.
Socially stalking, yes.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know what? Back in my day, you get arrested, but now you can get away with it with social media. You've got a really interesting story.
I do.
And what's fascinating as well, you know, some people hit bad times and that's it. They hit rock bottom and they never come back. You kind of had things go wrong for you, but you've turned your life around. Tell us, first of all, let's talk about the Brisbane Floods, which was that back in 2011?
Yes, it was. And I had two businesses at the time. So some people think that you need to be water affected, actually have water gushing through your home or business to be flood affected. You don't. I was in a bayside shop and the bridge that took people out to Wellington Point was actually really badly eroded with the floodwater that came through Moreton Bay. So the council put up a sign saying local traffic only. So people stopped coming to the village where my shop was located. So all of a sudden we're doing thousands of dollars a day in trade and next minute I couldn't even sell a belt. I was stripping mannequins down naked, putting signs across their private parts saying, please come in and buy our clothing. People would stop, toot on the way past, but they wouldn't get out of their car because it was raining for 3 months. So it was amazing. All of a sudden, out of nothing to do that we'd done in our business, we were facing bankruptcy.
And I'm guessing you're not covered for that because whatever happens, the bottom line is it's an act of God because of the flooding. So you just left on your own. So what happened? I mean, clearly, you, as you've just explained, all of a sudden you've gone from successful business to people walking or driving past the shop. What did you do next?
So what I did was, I'm a fighter. I'm one of these people that if someone says, which goes back to my childhood story, we probably won't have time to cover today, but essentially if someone says I can't do it, that just makes me more determined. Yeah. So after about 6 months of fighting and doing all these different marketing strategies, I was about 2 weeks away from declaring bankruptcy and I had to make a decision. One of my purpose in life is to help underprivileged children in Thailand. And I thought if I'm going to open this orphanage or fundraise for this orphanage in Thailand, I can't do that if I'm bankrupt. So I decided that I'll move my business home to my double garage. I set up my fashion boutique and styling business there. And then I decided, well, there must be other business owners out there that are lost and lonely and struggling in these economic times. What if I launch a business networking group and we meet on a monthly basis, we get educated by a keynote speaker, and long story short, that ended up being what I did for nearly 5 years. And after 18 months of that shop incident, I went from broke to BMW.
But it's fascinating. We were chatting about this off air as well. You know, the whole networking thing, and people know we've got mutual friends that know. And if Annette Dansham's listening, morning Annette and
hello,
Trish and all the rest of it. But I kind of got over it, especially on the Gold Coast. But what you're talking about seems like a more we're not full of ologists. We're not people that can change your lives and give you a quick fix. We've actually been there and done it, and we're not saying this is how you do it. We're saying this is how it worked for us, and I think we need more of that.
Oh, absolutely. I think people are now to the point where they're sick of being sold to. They're sick of being lied to. So a lot of the sort of trashy magazines and so on and headlines, and some of them are great, but a lot of them out there, it's pretty much you're broken, and unless you buy my product or service, God help you.
Yeah, and this is one, and we were chatting about some of these things as well, and especially vulnerable people. You know, these companies will take advantage of people who are desperate, they're ill, they might just be looking for some kind of life-saving fix. There is no quick fix.
No. There isn't, and it really does come back to aligning with the right people. So one of the things I talk about a lot is surrounding yourself with your inner circle, and I'm blessed to call a lot of the people, probably some of the listeners, quite a few, are really good friends of mine, and it's so important. The business journey is not easy, and life journey is not easy.
No.
There's lots of ups and downs, and you do need to have that supportive circle, but you also need people who can call you on your stuff and allow you to say, I'm damn good at this, and be okay. I don't believe in the tall poppy syndrome.
And that's, we were chatting again off air about this. When I was DJing for a living, I used to phone up the clubs in the UK and say, okay, my name's Mike Bennett. I'm the best DJ you'll ever have. When do you want me to start? And they would laugh, but I would always get an audition because of it.
Well, I'm here because I said that.
Exactly. So it proves it works. So tell us a little bit about why Thailand? Why did you decide that?
So I'm Indian, born in Thailand. Okay. So my husband and I and children live there as well. And I was in the hotel industry and I ran the largest group of spas there. But one of the things you see is in Thailand, and it's quite similar to India, where you see the best of the best and you see the worst of the worst.
Sure.
And it was very often that we would front up and being in the hotel industry and we'd open the back door and there's a baby left at the door. There's children that you just see constantly in slums and they're taken in by the mafia, and there's not enough people there that are able to help them. So because my heart is in Thailand and I spent a lot of time there, got family there, I just feel that if we can make a difference to 40 children and fundraise for this orphanage, we've partnered with a company called Hands Across the Water, and they're based in Australia, and they have 7 orphanages in Thailand, and we just think that we can make a difference to these kids and change their lives forever.
Which is a sort of great reason to do that. We used to do a lot of work for the oil companies in West Africa, and we travelled to places like Angola, Equatorial Guinea, and you had the contrast on one side of the road, beautiful hotels, marble frontage, the other side, the slums, exactly as you were talking about. And, without getting too political, the government and the oil companies were doing okay. The people who lived there were not doing so well.
Not at all.
So it's interesting as well. I see that not only have you had success here, but you also went to New York and you've won awards. And how did that all work out?
I did. So I've been in business. So after the Broke to BMW journey, I had a lot of people come up to me and say, how did you do that? We know how much debt you were facing. How is it that you're now driving this car and you've written this book about your journey? Could you help us? So I fell into business mentoring, and I would sit with women once a week. It grew into a business. So after nearly mentoring for 4 years at that time, I entered an award in New York and I won the category for women helping women internationally. So I'd never been to the States and never been to New York.
New York's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, it's just one of those places I think you absolutely love and you feel yourself there or you don't. And I loved it. My husband went with me and we were sitting there at the Marriott in New York, and it felt surreal, Mike. It felt like one of those moments when you're on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m. bawling your eyes out after everything went bad, and then you're sitting there at the Marriott dressed up in New York and your name gets called out as the winner, and it's like, am I real? Can someone pinch me, please?
I know. And the thing about New York as well is because we've seen so many movies of New York, you just feel everybody. Oh, there's Times Square, around the corner. We know there's Macy's, and you know all of that stuff. I think that's terrific. And what you've proven is that even if things go badly wrong, if you've got that, it's mindset. It really is mindset. I mean, we sold up everything back in the UK to come and live in Australia, and now we've got lorikeets and we've got cockatoos and we've got birds every day, and it's well worth it. But business very hard to sort of get established here. But you've proven it was really interesting as well, saying about the floods, because people thought unless you were directly affected by the flood water, you wouldn't be affected at all. But
so many businesses closed up the street. And I think the thing, when you talk about mindset, I think the thing for me that resonates, I'm known as the why woman. Every time I meet someone, I ask them why they do what they do, because I think that comes before the what. A lot of people, when you turn up at a networking event, which you said, all the ologists out there, first thing they do is they slip into elevator pitch mode, they go straight to their head and they say, here's what I do, buy from me. And I want to take it one step back, and I would encourage listeners to sort of, when they meet new people or when they're making a business decision or anything, find out why the other person does what they do. That's the heart space. Sink into, why do we get out of bed every day? Why do our feet touch the ground? That's why I'm launching Why Mag. That's why I run programs around the why. Everything I do is around your purpose in life. We all have one. This is your gift, clearly. This is what you do, and you loved it.
My 1 day a week, this is I look forward to this more than any other day of the week, because, why do you do it? Love it. Simple as that, really. But it's, some people listening might say, well, the reason that I do the job I do, I've got 4 kids to support, I'm a single mum or whatever, that's why I go and work for whatever company it is. I think we are very privileged that we are in a position to do what we do and actually wake up in the morning and look forward to going to work. And I think that is a privilege to be.
Look, it is a privilege, and I think everyone can find it though, Mike. I know many businesses that we have to pay the bills, of course, and they don't go away because we've decided to take some time out to find our why. I get that. But I also encourage people to sort of maybe look outside. I run courses and there's online things they can do, but find someone who can help you find what you're passionate about. When you find what you're passionate about and you're genuinely good at it, then find out how to monetize it, because then, like you and I, we get paid for things we would do for free and we love to do. I want everyone to have that feeling, and they can. Then they can fade out what they don't love to do in their job and just do this every day.
Yeah. If you know what, if we got paid here at 101, I would do this every day. But anyway, that's another story. Shar, I knew that we would have plenty to talk about. I'm really keen to talk about the magazine next time you come in, because we'll have you back when you're just about ready to launch. I like the sound of this. Is, you know, we're getting away from the Kardashians and we're actually getting into some reality.
Don't get me started on them.
Well, I was thinking of doing a spoof called The Real Housewives of Upper Coomera, just to see what happened. So we could have some fun with that.
Oh, we could.
Shar, I cannot thank you enough for coming in at such short notice.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
It's an absolute joy. If you want to know a little bit more about Shar, the work she does, the books that she's written, we will get Shar to leave her details on reception with the lovely Liz, and you can contact us here at 101 FM. So there we are, and just to let you know, in case you didn't hear it earlier on, probably an extra 15-20 minutes from me today as Mike Anderson struggles through traffic. And Mike, as we say, if you are listening, do not worry, just take your time. I've locked the door, we've changed the combination on the lock, there you are. Such is life, don't worry about it, really.